So, going into the Suicide Squad, I had very high expectations because the first one was not good. And it had, James Gunn was directing, and it seemed to be very much separated from the first movie. And the marketing was great, although admittedly, the marketing did show a lot of the film, which is a little bit of an issue, not with the movie, just with the marketing for it. Anyway, so yeah, going into this movie, I had really high expectations, and I was a little bit nervous because you never know what you're going to think about a movie until you see it. Let me give you an example. Um, the remake of Mulan that came out in 2020, I was expecting that movie to be about on the same level as the other remakes. I mean, not necessarily that good, but fine. Like just with the novelty of. In fact, I expected the remake of Mulan to be better, and it wasn't. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And this movie, my expectations were very high, and I was nervous about that going into it because I thought, oh no, what if it's not good? And then I saw the movie, and all of my fears just melted away. This movie is awesome. Oh man, I love this movie. I just got back from seeing it. Um, let's talk about the negative stuff first. There was a little bit of a there were like a couple. There's one scene in particular with Harley Quinn and an antagonistic character in the film that felt like it could have been cut down a little bit. Like it's very important to the plot, but it feels like that scene in particular probably could have been shaved a little bit just to make the scene feel a little bit quicker, like the rest of the movie did. Um, and then the human villains really weren't that interesting. I mean, they weren't bad or anything. It just weren't that interesting. I specifically did not like this guy who, what was his name? I have no idea what his name was. He was a very forgettable antagonist. The person who was talking to Harley Quinn in that one scene I mentioned, and then this other guy, Mateo, I think his name was. He wasn't very interesting, and it's not a huge issue, but I do wish there was a slightly more entertaining antagonist. Other than that, the movie is awesome. Every single member of the Suicide Squad in this movie gets something cool and interesting to do. Like, not all of. There were a couple who didn't have, like, huge, big, wild personalities. Um, like, this character, Sol Soria, I believe her name was. And but I mean, I still enjoyed the character. I like all of the characters in this movie, at least all the members of the Suicide Squad. They were all completely insane. There was Yondu, yeah. Michael Rooker, who played Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, he was in this movie. He played a character called Savant. Uh, Pete Davidson was in this movie, and he was kind of funny. Um, Weasel. Weasel was kind of awesome. He was no more than I expected him to be, but certainly no less. I mean, he was just this disgusting creature that was. Like, he has such a disturbing design that you kind of can't look away. Um, and, like, the more flashier members of the team that we see a lot of at the beginning, like Javelin and Blackguard and Weasel were. I enjoyed them. They were fun characters. I do like that they brought back Captain Boomerang because, admittedly, he was one of the better characters from the first movie. Like, not there were not a lot of good characters in the first movie. I mean, like, Harley Quinn was fine, Deadshot was fine, but in the first movie, I kind of liked Captain Boomerang a little bit. He had this weird obsession with unicorns, which is extremely weird, but it was there. But here he's kind of funny, and yeah, I liked the detachable kid, and when like his arms came off of his torso, it looked like Lego arms popping off of Lego torsos, so that was funny. Mongal, I didn't really care that much for Mongal. I didn't dislike her, but she had so little to do in the film that it was kind of weird. So there's that. And then like what was it, like 8, 9 main members of the Suicide Squad. I really like that they brought back Rick Flag, and he was really solid in this movie. Bloodsport was fantastic. I mean, it's Idris Elba, so of course the performance was great, but I mean, the character was actually really the kind of the heart and soul of the film. But you know who was also kind of the heart and soul of the movie that I did not expect to have as big of a role as she did? Ratcatcher 2. What a good character. I did not expect her to be like this great character inside of this movie. She actually had a really solid arc, and she was kind of this really upbeat personality. Like she formed so many bonds with the rest of the team, and I really enjoyed that. Harley Quinn was still great in this movie, and of course, you got to talk about King Shark. I love King Shark, you guys. He was so funny, and he was so heartfelt. Like the scene where it's like he confesses something to Ratcatcher, and it was so sad. But yeah, and then just such a great presence throughout the movie. Provided consistent laughs. Peacemaker. Oh my god, Peacemaker was hilarious. He just had so much bravado and arrogance to the point where he just walks out and oh man. What am I even talking about? Yeah. He's just such a good character in this movie, and he's just hilarious. I mean, yeah, he's ridiculous. Everything about this movie is ridiculous. The climax is just it's a giant starfish. That is the main villain of this movie. Yeah, Starro is the main villain of this film. Kind of. I don't know. Would Amanda Waller be the main villain of this movie? I can't tell, but Amanda Waller was good in this one too. And then Starro. I admit I thought he was going to be a bit bigger. And if you've seen the film, you may be thinking, what? He was really, really enormous. And I was like, I just thought he was going to be bigger. But yeah. Aside from the characters, there are a lot of other good things about this movie. The action is awesome. And it's like, there's a lot of variety to the action sequences and the locations that they choose. So that was cool. This movie had me laughing like beginning to end. It is hilarious. It's like, it's so funny. I don't know if it's quite on par comedically with the first two Guardians films, but it's still hysterical. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be rewatching this movie quite often. It's awesome. Now, I don't think that this movie is quite as good as the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it's a great film, but there's just something about Guardians of the Galaxy that just keeps my attention no matter the circumstance. And this movie had that, but I feel like I just enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit more. I think I liked it better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I have issues with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that I don't want to get into right now. So, yes, this is a great movie. For the score, I'd say it gets an A. An A indeed. So, it's such a good movie. I am going to be putting out a DCEU ranking in the next couple of days. I got it all planned out. So, comment what you thought about the film, like this video, subscribe for more content like this, which is hopefully better than this. But anyway, and thank you for watching. And as always, remember to keep calm and watch out.